Welcome, everybody, to this week's KSN Podcast. I'm Christian Simmons. I'm here with Bailey Adams and Zack Wienecki. So, obviously, UCF got the big win this weekend, and UCF's going undefeated this year. I was right. How does that feel? How's that feel?
Well,
I was right.
It's 2 games, so you should...
And it's 9 games to go.
I mean, technically, yeah. I mean,
your
take isn't a hot take till they lose, so it's still not a hot take.
How's it not hot? That does everyone.
It's not a take anymore at all if they lose.
That's literally it's over.
Well, yeah, but you look back and say that was a hot take.
Calling them undefeated isn't a hot take.
That's a hot take.
Until they mathematically can't go
saying
undefeated.
they're going to go undefeated is a hot take until they lose. It's not a hot take until they lose.
Can we?
What? What does that mean?
It's not. You said they're going to go undefeated.
Yes.
Someone said it's a hot take.
It's not a hot take because it's going to happen.
Oh, okay. Well.
They're actually going to go
All
undefeated.
right, so that's okay. Well, then that's why you don't get this. Okay, so just move on.
Do you get this?
No.
I don't even know.
Okay, well.
Where are we even supposed to go from here? What is that? How did you... The game this weekend. What you guys watched the game. What did you think of how they played this weekend?
I mean, I think we talked about this off the air a while ago. People were thinking maybe that with Maryland losing their quarterback, the win wouldn't be as big, but I don't agree with that. I think Maryland's was their third-string quarterback, came in. He played pretty well. He wasn't the reason they lost. UCF just dominated in every area. I mean, their defensive line, he was racked at like 5 or 7 sacks. They stopped the run, which is a big deal because Maryland has a good. There's 2 of their running backs are really good and they have a good but stable in the backfield. UCF shut them down completely. Came up with 2 picks. Offensively, they moved the ball. They scored. It's just a big win. I don't think there's really any discounting it, even with Hill going down.
I think there is, because when I get that Maryland runs the ball a lot, but when you lose your first quarterback, that's a big deal. So teams are going to naturally, when you lose your quarterback, teams will start playing the run more because your backups aren't as good as your starters, obviously. So when you have your second string, who I watched second string play, I don't know how good he is, but I'm assuming that he had more control of the offense in the passing game than the third string did. So when they lost their second string and they go to the third string, UCF probably just sold out and run every play.
Okay, look, here's the bottom line. They picked up votes in both polls. ESPN's Power Index has them like 30, so it didn't matter. They got the credibility.
Okay, no, but
how would that have been different if they'd been playing their first string and they won? Are you saying UCF would have been ranked?
I think they got more votes.
They got 13 votes in the coaches poll.
But they were getting votes after week 1 in the coaches poll.
Huh?
After they won the
okay, but they got 3 in the coaches poll and none in the
it's
people.
still
This is totally different.
I know.
This is real. Like everyone recognizes that if they beat Memphis this weekend, they're going to be ranked.
No, I agree with that because that's going to be a good win. But beating Maryland with their third-string quarterback is not as impressive as it would have been had they beat their second.
Well, I'm literally saying they got the credibility they would have gotten.
I'm not. The issue is not the credibility. The issue is, are they actually that good?
Yes.
I don't know if you know that yet. Just because they played a third string, because that guy did not.
They're beating their opponent by an average of what, like 28 points a
Okay,
game?
but they played FIU and then a third-string quarterback from Maryland who
Did they win the games?
I mean, they won, but the Jets...
Did they win the games by a lot?
The Jets won the thing by a lot. Are they a good team?
I don't know. I don't watch the NFL.
They're bad. They're going to get the number 1 pick. Just because you win games, I mean, you're...
There's college football on. Why would I be watching the NFL?
Because it's on Sunday.
I'm busy Sunday.
Doing what?
ECU and UConn.
Prepping for the NBA. I don't know.
No, but just because you win a game, like, yes, your record says you're good, but until you play good teams and show you can beat good teams, you're not... I mean, for me, you're not good.
You said last week if they play Maryland, they'll be a good team and they prove it. Now
that was
Maryland, and you're like, well, they have to play a good team.
Just because that was before they lost their quarterback. I didn't think they were going to lose their quarterback on the second drive of the game.
You're good. They're going to beat Memphis. You're going to be like, well, their helmets suck, so it's not a real team.
No,
you're not going to have to beat Navy.
When they played last week, when I said last week that if they beat Maryland, it'd be a big deal. That's when I thought they were going to have a quarterback, and then Maryland didn't have a quarterback.
You already knew that they weren't going to be on their second string.
But the second
you have no idea what the drop off is from second to third string.
It's probably a lot.
It's probably because you don't know.
If you're a third-string quarterback at Maryland, are you a good quarterback?
Sure. It's Big Ten.
Even the thing with they lost their quarterback went to a third-string quarterback, UCF still put up 38 points on their defense.
Okay,
78 points. Only 7 of those points. Okay, so that's over 30 points from the offense.
If you want to get technical about it, 6 of those points.
Okay, well then
let's not get that.
Let's take out all the extra points then. Then how many really came from the offense?
This is what we're down a rabbit hole now.
Okay, well I'm just saying it's not as big. If they lose to Memphis this weekend, I will not be surprised because we haven't seen how good they are.
You're literally a delusional person.
How am I delusional?
What do you want them to do?
Beat a good
what would
team.
be a successful win?
Beat a
What
good
would
team.
have had to happen in Maryland for you to be like, oh, okay, they're a good team?
They beat the quarterback that was supposed to start. Why?
So
Why?
as soon as he went down, you think the entire game, even though they won by 28 points.
Yes.
It just didn't.
The complexion of the game completely changed when you lose your quarterback in the second drive of the game. And you lose a lot of credibility in the win if you beat a third-string quarterback.
But what I keep explaining is they didn't lose credibility. They got the same.
Okay, yeah, in the eyes of some people, but
in the eyes of everybody, it's the poll.
Everybody, I'm part of everybody, and I think that wasn't as good a win. If you beat a third-string quarterback, it's not a good win.
There's a whole team around a quarterback. It's not just like it's
okay.
the quarterback. Especially Maryland when it's not even like.
What's the most important position in football?
Coach.
You're an asshole.
Do you really think that you actually think you would not be surprised if they lost to Memphis?
I would not be surprised about Memphis at all.
Would you be surprised if they lost to Memphis?
Yeah, because you look at Memphis's 3 games they played. Aside from the UCLA win, which they won by what?
3.
3?
No, 1. It was just 1.
But they still picked off Rosen 3 times.
And then last weekend they struggled with Southern Illinois. And in their first week, they struggled in that week too. So they've had 2 wins that were closer than they should have been, and then a close win against UCLA, who, as much as I like Josh Rosen, are they that good of a team? They were 25.
They picked off Rosen 3 times. Rosen's an NFL quarterback. I mean, it's a good anytime you beat an NFL quarterback, especially as an American team, if you beat an NFL quarterback like that, you're good. That's a good win. I'm not going to go as far. Okay, that win they had over UCLA is far better than the win that UCF had over Maryland. That says way more about the Memphis team.
I don't think anyone's arguing that because UCLA was ranked, so obviously that was a better win.
Okay, but they beat a good quarterback. UCF hasn't played a good quarterback.
What is it with the quarterback? It's not about.
It's the most important position in football.
I recognize that, but a quarterback by himself doesn't win the game.
It can't.
The whole team has to be good.
That's not true at all.
But I'm saying, listen, I recognize that a good quarterback elevates a team by a lot. I recognize that. But I'm saying, you're saying that, I said that wrong. What I'm saying is that you're literally saying that the win didn't matter because there wasn't a quarterback.
I'm not saying
that a win, you're saying a team can't be good unless they have a good quarterback. I think we should simmer.
Yes, 100%. That's absolutely what I'm saying.
I think we should simmer a little bit.
You can't be good at...
I can't
name a good team without a good quarterback.
UCF.
Okay, I can't say they're good.
You...
They haven't beat anybody yet.
What was your record prediction?
9-2.
That's a good team. A team that goes 9-2 is a good team.
They're in a very bad football conference.
Zach, what do you want? What do you want them to do? I don't know what you want.
Be a good team.
UCF is going to go 11-0. They're going to win the conference championship. They're going to win like the Peach Bowl, and Zach's going to be like,
if they do that, they'll be a good team, and I will have respect for Milton. But
only if they go undefeated and win a New Year's Six.
Because
then he'll have respect.
Okay, tell me, name good teams in the American. Okay. Here's the okay. So you're saying, this is a it might not be a good example. I'm using it anyway. FGCU wins their conference every year in basketball. Are they a good team?
That is neither here nor there.
I'm just saying. You're saying
that has nothing to do with what we're
yes,
talking.
it is. You're saying because they beat teams that they're
you
good.
You just talk sports and conference.
It's the same thing. It's still sport, and you say
it's definitely not the same thing.
I just said they're going to go 9-2 against one of the worst teams in
that's like
one of the worst conferences.
UCF's going to go undefeated. Why? Well, because Taco Fall. Like that has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's everything we're talking
about. It's everything to do with what we're talking about. You
just said because I predicted 9-2, they're a good team. If you beat bad teams, are you a good team?
Yeah.
You might just be the best of the bad.
You're better than a team that loses to bad.
Exactly. You might be the best of the bad, but you're not good.
Best of the bad. This goes back to I don't understand what you want UCF to do to convince yourself that they're a good team. Okay. What would they've had to do against Maryland for you to be like, wow, they're a good team?
Beat the starting quarterback.
But once he went down.
Assuming he went down, what would they have had to do?
There's nothing you can do. If you beat a
that's not under their control, though.
I'm not saying it. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's their fault. I'm just saying because they beat a third-string quarterback, the win wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be.
What you're literally saying is UCF can't possibly be good because another team's player got injured.
Yes. Yes. I'm not saying. I'm not saying I'm ready.
Step out right there and say that's not what you're saying, but then you just.
Then you just get from the.
No. Okay. Well, because yeah. I'm not saying they're not good. I'm saying I'm not ready to say they're good because if you beat a third-string quarterback, I can't say you're good. It's just not a good win. It's not as good as I thought it had been had they played.
I'm going to make a prediction right now. They're going to beat Memphis, and you're going to come back next week with a reason for why they're not good.
I'll say
they're going to be ranked like 23rd, and you're going to be like, they're terrible. Like, you're just something.
If they beat Memphis, they're a good team. If they beat Memphis, they're a good team.
Are you committing to that right now?
Yes.
No matter what.
If the quarterback goes down, no. Because the same thing, Memphis is the same thing as Maryland. Why was Maryland winning games?
Bailey, what am I even supposed to say to him?
No, answer the question. Answer the question.
I'm gonna-
Why was Maryland winning games? Why were they winning games?
I want to hear what Bailey has to say.
Why were they winning games? Why were they winning games? Seriously, why were they winning games?
Because they're a good football team.
No, because they're scoring more. They're scoring a bunch of points. They're scoring a bunch of points. Their defense sucked. What happened when you lose your quarterback?
They scored a bunch of points against Texas with a completely different quarterback, and they scored a bunch of points against Towson.
They scored a bunch of points, and when you lose your quarterback, when you lose the leader.
I can play quarterback and beat Towson. So.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, I can't call FIU a high school team, but you can say you can play quarterback and beat Towson. Okay.
When you lose the leader of your strongest unit, that automatically brings the level of the quality of your team down a bunch because their defense is not good.
Okay, can I throw you a counter argument?
Okay.
UCF lost Holman last year. Milton came in instead. The offense got better.
Because Holman wasn't good.
You see, he led them to. Well, he didn't lead, but he helped them to a 9-win season. You can't say he wasn't good.
But we can all agree though that the teams that came before the 0-12 season were.
Oh, but I thought it was all about the quarterback. Now you're saying it's the rest of the team?
When you have a quarterback like Holman, because when they had a 9, okay, goes back to saying they're in the American. Who did they beat in that 9-win season?
The American had a good year that year, actually.
Who did they? It's the American. Who did they beat? It's not Power 6.
That was ECU's best year in a while. They beat ECU that year.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
On a Hail Mary.
On a Hail Mary.
Win is a win. That was.
I agree.
A
win is a win. But the American's just not a good football conference. It's just not.
Okay, but it's still better than half the football conference.
Okay, you're better than the Sun Belt. Congratulations.
And MAC and Mountain West.
Oh wow, you're better than UB. And who's in the Mountain West?
Boise State.
Whoa.
Air Force.
Whoa. Air Force can't throw a pass. Boise State hasn't been good since Kellen Moore. Just because you're the best of the bad doesn't mean that you're good. That's what they keep making.
I'm trying to explain to you. If you're saying they're the best of the bad because they're playing bad teams, they're not like beating the bad teams in competitive games. They're whipping them to shreds. That's why I'm saying they're a good team. They're so far ahead of the competition they're playing against in both games. FIU was not a contest. Maryland was barely a contest.
FIU, we can all agree, is very, very
All right, let me ask you a question. If UCF and UF play, who wins? They played this weekend. Who wins that game?
UF.
You're insane.
I'm insane?
Yes.
UCF couldn't score on UF.
Do you agree with that?
UF's offense is...
What?
I don't agree with that.
UF's offense is absolutely dreadful. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Felipe
And
Francis...
what does UCF's defense do against horrible offenses? They pick them off and they score.
How many times have they done that this year?
Once, but last year they did a lot.
Having a third string or a third round pick on you at one corner, sure. Having a safety who's in the NFL now, sure. They have a whole different secondary this year.
Yeah, they're still picking off passes for pick sixes.
One time!
Okay, that's one time more than a lot of teams.
Because there's like 100 teams or 130 teams in that Division 1. It's because you're doing it more than a bunch of those teams. I mean,
That makes you better than them. That's
No,
literally what better means.
doesn't.
You're better than the rest of the teams.
just because you do it one time doesn't mean it's
They're
good.
gonna.
So you're saying they're going to get a lot of pick sixes? A lot of pick sixes? You're saying that's what they're capable of?
Yes.
You think they're going to do it?
The secondary did not look as bad as people were.
No, I'm not saying it looks bad. I'm just saying you can't make all these wild predictions saying
I'm
that
not
there's
getting
something
it.
else.
All right.
You can't say that you can't make all these wild
Let's
predictions
move on to something that will
based
get
on 2 subpar wins.
Okay. Let's talk about something that'll make me even more mad. Do you think UCF can beat Navy?
I'm telling you, it's a trap game. It's a trap game.
I don't think it's a trap game because Navy's probably the second best team that UCF will see this year.
Yes.
So I don't think they're going to be overlooking it.
You guys just said they weren't good.
I did not say they weren't
I said
good.
they're
Oh, he said they're not good.
Okay.
Who have they played?
I guess
Tulane?
but the conference is bad, so I guess playing.
Oh, man. We're going back to this argument.
Well, I don't know what. I just don't understand.
Do you
why
guys
that's
really think the American's a good football conference?
No.
They just can't do anything about that.
No,
They
okay,
can't control
and here's
the
my thing: is I'm not
schedule
saying
they
it's
have.
UCF's fault that the fact that I don't think that I can't say they're a good team right now is not their fault. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to beat teams, but if you're beating bad teams, it's not your fault. That's just a hand you're dealt. And now if they beat Memphis, if they beat USF, and then they whoop everybody else, you're a good team.
Can I clarify your position?
Sure.
You're saying the American is a bad conference.
Yes.
They beat a Power 5 team, so they're not good. But if they beat American teams, then you'll think they're good.
Okay.
I have another question after you guys answer this.
Would you say that USF and Memphis are better than Maryland? Would you say Maryland's a good football school?
I would say.
Would you say Maryland with a third-string quarterback is?
I don't know. Maybe if you let me answer one of the questions, I would tell you.
Well, you don't give me.
Yes, Memphis is better than Maryland.
Okay.
USF is not.
You don't think that?
You don't think-
Even with third-string quarterback. Because here's the thing: I'm not saying Maryland's a bad team. I'm saying because they lost 2 quarterbacks, that hurts your quality a ton. I think you're really undervaluing the quarterback position. You're doing everything the same thing everyone else did when coming into school. Not okay.
I think you're really overvaluing a second-string quarterback.
Oh, no. Having a second-string quarterback, the difference between second string and third string is a big deal.
Not on every team. You're saying there's that big of a jump between Noah Vedral and Darryl Mack?
I don't know how he's going to play. That's the thing. I don't know.
Okay.
And we've seen the third string play, and
I'm
he
saying
was not a
it's not a
great
given that there's always a big jump.
No, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying we've seen both the players play though in Maryland.
Well,
And granted, the second string did play against Towson, which
they still
You're
spread
right.
a lot.
No, you're right. And but it still brings back to the point. It's just losing your first string quarterback is just a big deal.
Yeah.
And so it just
No one's arguing that.
I know, but I'm just saying I can't call that a great. Okay, I was calling it a good win. Had they beat the first string quarterback from Maryland, that'd be a great win. I'd say.
We know. No one's arguing that.
I know, but they lost. So they're now their second string. That still would have been a good win because he's still a guy who was second string. He started a game. He's got some experience. They literally threw a freshman in. Was he a freshman? I'm just saying that. Was the third string a freshman?
I don't know if he was the freshman.
Was he a sophomore?
If we don't know, we'll just
They
assume
threw a guy in there who has not started a game. I would venture to say he probably hasn't played a down in college yet. That's
without having any idea what class he's in. You're ready
yes,
to
I'm ready to say that. If you're a third string at Maryland, you probably play it down.
Can I interrupt you real quick?
Sure.
What was your question?
I don't even remember.
You had a question. You weren't ready for it. Look,
I don't even know what you guys disagree with. That you really think that was a good win, even though they beat a third string quarterback. Look, I get their offense is 100%. No, I'm not gonna say 100%. I get that their offense was very run heavy, and they shut down the run. But when you lose a quarterback, you can basically sell it on the run now. It changes the whole complexity of
I
your
want
offense.
to say they could sell the run to begin with because the second string quarterback was more of a runner than a passer anyway. I don't think he had that great of an arm.
Yeah.
I think in their win against Towson, he threw the ball like 15 times.
Well,
So I just don't think. I get what you're saying, but I don't think the second string quarterback. I think he's better than the third string quarterback.
No,
I don't
yeah.
think the offense changed when the third string quarterback came in because I think they were going to run the ball no matter what.
Yeah, but I think when you have a better quarterback there, there's still the threat of throwing. I just don't. I think once they got down, they had to throw the ball, and we saw that he wasn't a great. The third string wasn't a great throwing. But the one pick six he threw was all on the receiver. So I mean that was pretty unfortunate.
I think I remember my question. So.
Oh, okay. Never mind. No, you're good. Yeah.
You were saying that USF's a good team, but why is USF?
I mean they're ranked, and you're going.
Oh, they're ranked, so they're good.
Oh my God! You just said the win against Memphis against State was a good win because they're ranked. You just said that.
I said they should. I said there was a recognition that they would have gotten when it was the first string quarterback of the third string.
No,
there was no better scenario there.
No, I just what?
But do you think USF should be ranked?
I watched ranked.
Then yeah, I don't.
As someone who's watched all their games, that team should not be ranked. Isn't their own beat writer in Tampa not voting for them?
It's not the beat writer. I think someone else.
Okay, well, and the thing is, they barely beat who? Stony Brook, FCS.
Well, the problem is what they do is they always have a strong fourth quarter, so they build the leads up because the other team runs out of gas. They're just inferior.
Also, when you play an FCS team, they're not built.
I think Stony Brook they won like 2 touchdowns.
And it was like a garbage touchdown.
The thing is, they just look like a bad team. When you watch the games, they just every snap.
Because I know in the last game, Quentin Flowers didn't crack 100 yards throwing. He wasn't their leading rusher.
On offense, they look lost. They just look lost.
It's not the same offense from last year.
I mean, they lost quite a few players though, right? I mean, they lost.
They lost
Marlon Mack.
They lost Marlon Mack.
They lost. Who's
the
number
thing
8?
is,
Ernest.
No, they still have him.
Oh, they still have him.
Darius Tice. They have 2 really good running backs. So
Are they Marlon Mack level? Why are we talking about USF?
Because it goes back into what you're saying, where you're saying that UCF is better because they're not.
I'm not okay. UCF isn't. UCF isn't. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not ready to call them good though.
And we are so just in circles here. I'm not even going to ask you again what it's going to take for them to be good because then your answer is going to be like, well, the quarterback. So
they beat Memphis, they'll be good. They beat Memphis, they'll be good. That's what
I guarantee you next week after they beat Memphis, you will have a reason they're not good.
I guarantee I won't.
Oh, really? We'll see. We'll see on that.
So, beat a speaking quarterback versus quality wins.
Predictions for the game. What do you guys expect?
Where do we even go from here?
What are you expecting for Memphis game? That's what we're going from here.
I'm expecting, to Zach's point, they have a very good quarterback. He's a senior, a lot of experience.
Can I? Oh, never mind.
I think we're going to see the UCF secondary tested more than they have been in the first 2 games, and we'll see how they hold up. But I really think UCF's defense is good enough to keep them in the game, and I think the offense is actually way ahead of where it was last year. I don't think Memphis has a very good defense. I think UCF wins. I don't know if we're going to score predictions yet.
Is the biggest concern the secondary for UCF in that game?
In the game, I'd say yes, but I'm not going to say it's a huge concern. I just think it's the biggest compared to everything else.
We should just score predictions. What do you think? We can come back to you if you need time to
I think.
Okay, if you know what's going to be the next question,
Yeah.
what if they get trashed by Memphis? Are they still a good team? Like, what if they lose like by 20?
You know what? Sure.
What?
Sure. Why not? I'm going to use Zach's logic. Yes. Because quarterbacks. So, yeah. They'll be ranked. Why not?
I'm saying if UCF gets trashed by
Yeah,
Memphis.
sure. They'll be ranked.
What?
I don't know. This is literally because that's it. The whole argument is like I don't. Every single time I argue about this stuff, it's the same thing. Is you just keep going back to reasoning like with the quarterbacks and everything. It's like of course they're not a good team if they lose. To
Independent of my argument.
What else are we supposed to say to that? Of course they're not a good team.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
I don't. But the point is, I just don't understand why you're so convinced they're not going to do well.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying I already think they're going to 9-2. I think they're going to do well. I just don't think they're as great as everyone thinks they are.
If they beat 9-2.
But if you beat a bunch of bad teams.
And I ask again, so who are the two?
You want me to say it? You're going to get mad.
I'm not going to say a word.
Navy.
Who else?
As much as I hate to say it, I think it's in Memphis.
You do think you just went from? I literally just said you think you're gonna do bad. You're like, nah, but they're gonna lose. Yeah.
No, okay. I'm not saying no. You keep taking words in my mouth. I never said they're gonna do bad. If you lose to a close game to Memphis, who I think is a good team, they're not a bad team. But if you get trashed by a good team, you're not as good as everyone thinks you are.
What's your score prediction?
I want to be a homer, so I'm not. Because I do think they're gonna lose, but I don't want to say it.
No, honestly, I really think we should try to be as accurate as possible.
Okay. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. I mean, I think it's gonna be like, because for the record, I don't think they're gonna get trashed. I think it's gonna be a close loss, like 10 points, 10 points, 7 points. I think it'd be like a 45-35, 45-38 game, something like that.
45-38.
I'll go with that touchdown difference.
45-38.
Because what's his name? Reed Ferguson is that the quarterback for Memphis?
Reed or Riley.
He's a very good quarterback. He was a highly ranked quarterback in his class. He committed to Tennessee, left to play baseball, something like that. Came back, and he can also run. I just don't know if the secondary is gonna be able to hold up.
I mean, we knew before the season started, Memphis was. The schedule got flipped around, but that was going to be the first big test for the secondary. And I honestly think it benefits the team that's coming a little later than.
No, I agree with that 100%. Did the same two corners start against Maryland who started against FIU? Who's the guy who got burned on that deep touchdown against FIU?
Oh, who was that?
Because if they've rectified, I mean that's kind of rhetorical.
I don't remember his name, but I think he was way back in the depth chart after that.
Okay, because
who was that? You know the player I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, like his name.
See, on that play, I don't really know. Was that just a miscommunication? Or he just
He got beat. He just got.
I know if they fix stuff like that, then I think they have a way better shot. But if stuff like that, because
that's what I'm saying. I think that was like what 3 or 4.
A month.
No, I know. I'm saying. I mean, I'm sure a lot's changed. I'm saying if that because their passing defense.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, their passing defense wasn't necessarily tested against Maryland at all.
No, because it was a Thursday game.
Yeah, no, but I was saying.
I got you.
I mean, the passing defense wasn't tested against Maryland at all. So I mean, we really don't know how good their passing defense is going to be because that's going to be. I think it's going to be far and away the bigger test in this game.
I think that's the biggest takeaway for sure. I mean, it'll be a good measurement of where they are in that regard.
Because the Memphis quarterback, he can run.
I don't think they're going to see another quarterback as good as the Memphis quarterback.
No, I don't think they'll believe it. I mean, unless
is he better than Flowers?
Flowers doesn't.
I don't like Flowers as a quarterback. I mean, I see the talent that he has, but
I mean, you think it's like a Denard Robinson where he's a good playmaker, just not a good quarterback, or like a Nick Marshall, he's a good playmaker, just not a good quarterback.
I don't know. I just don't see.
Like obviously,
I don't see the same arm talent from him.
Oh, at the pro level, absolutely not. No, at pro level, no.
I'm not gonna. I'm not, obviously he's a good quarterback, but
but is it fair to say that Memphis is the best passing quarterback for the team?
Yeah, that was my main point.
100%, yeah.
Because Flowers might be able to do more as far as making plays.
Well, I think the Memphis quarterback was classified as a dual threat quarterback.
I'd still think as a dual threat.
Okay,
if you're comparing them as dual threat quarterbacks, I like Flowers. But if you're talking about strictly to test the secondary, I think Ferguson's going to definitely
well, if he's going to
test
the
secondary.
Field,
yeah, I think he's going to test secondary way more than Flowers will because Flowers.
Tends
to rely a little bit more on his legs.
I mean, yeah, against UCF it's going to be all about the front seven, containing it. But against Memphis, because he threw 6 touchdowns against UCLA, who isn't. I don't know how good. I mean, you're saying it was a good one because of rank, which I think UCLA is above average. They're a good team.
Yeah.
But
overrated maybe a bit.
I think they're definitely
going into that game.
the Pac-12 I think is a little bit overrated, but when you beat a guy like Josh Rosen, because the defense, obviously, Memphis' defense is not great. They picked off Josh Rosen, which is an accomplishment in itself, but
they still allowed
48 points, exactly. So, but their offense is, I'm not going to say elite, but it's very good.
But what I'm saying is, so could it be, are we at the point where UCF's offense, we can realistically expect them to be able to outscore a team? We could not have said that last year.
No.
When I think about Memphis' defense, yes. But if you're saying it overall, I still don't think
I'm talking about this weekend. I mean, it could.
Oh,
if
absolutely.
if the secondary struggles, could they just rely on Milton to have a big?
I think
running backs have a big.
Depending on how much they struggle.
And talking about running backs, Juwan Hamilton, I don't think there's been an official announcement, but on Facebook he said he's taking a medical red shirt. How does that impact the team? Does it impact the team?
I think in this offense, I might be wrong, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think running back's the most replaceable position in this offense.
Do you agree with that?
I might agree with it, and I think I agree with it just because of the depth they have in the position.
No, because they have some very good running backs now. They have Richardson, who looked okay.
He only had a handful of carries.
Which I was surprised at. I thought he'd get more. He's kind of like shoving their face, Maryland's face.
They're leading rusher.
I mean, Taj, he had 2 touchdowns. Otis Anderson looked decent.
Yeah.
Kalins had a touchdown between the tackles, which was impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I just think in this offense, I mean, like you said, especially with the talent they have at that position, I really think that that's a very replaceable position. I don't think. Plus, Hamilton didn't look spectacular against FIU, which I feel like if you're going to show out against a team, that would be the game.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He was. I'm not going to say he was the biggest disappointment of that game.
He was just getting out to a slow start.
Yeah.
I mean, because his yards per carry wasn't bad. It was 4.8.
But the run game was absolutely that was the only real thing from that game. Was kind of coming out of the game was definitely not what they were expecting.
Yeah, but I think the running game looked a lot better than the second game against Maryland.
We got Juwan Hamilton for most of the game.
You know who the leading rusher for that game was? Milton.
Was it?
Yeah,
oh, he wasn't even
yards.
bust that 55 yards.
Ran for 94 yards.
Or 50 or 55.
Yeah.
Not touchdown yard run.
Yeah.
But then I mean, how many rushing yards do they have in that game? Because I want to say they have more rushing yards than they have passing yards.
We should get some stats.
Because I know. Okay, here's the thing. Because I know I was looking
man.
at the end of the game. I was looking at the stats for the game, and Milton had 178 passing yards, and they finished with 231 rushing yards. But when I added up each individual player, that did not come out to 231.
You look at ESPN.
Yes.
ESPN
that happens all the time.
Okay,
I
what's
don't know
wrong?
why.
Okay,
I don't know why. Like if you add it up compared to their team stats, it just sometimes.
It's
Okay,
because sometimes Frost gets out there and just like runs a little bit and but you know.
That's right. I forget what I was saying.
I mean, just
Well,
Hamilton.
Right. No, it's.
I feel like it's not a big deal.
Not-
I hate to say it, but I really just don't feel like.
Yeah, not to slight Hamilton as a player. Because
Yeah. Not at all.
when you win out the starting running back position in a position group that's as talented as UCF, you're obviously a good running back.
And in all honesty, when you're with the way UCF is trending, I think that's a huge advantage that they're gonna have another year for him.
Oh yeah.
I mean, huge advantage.
Yeah. And I think getting back was it Tyler Granick, getting him back into Maryland, that's probably part of the reason why the running game did look a lot better. So seeing more of Juwan Hamilton with him in the game might have been different. I don't want to say Hamilton was struggling early because he had a different guard in there, but
first game
still.
too. I mean,
Plus, he went out early. Like it was not really like.
Yeah, I think it was maybe it wasn't the first drive, was it? It might have been the second.
I think it was second or third. Yeah, it was really
definitely.
early. Definitely not enough time for you to have any kind of judgment on how you were playing. You know.
So
well, yeah, I think that's okay. So let's just finish up. We had your score prediction. What's your score prediction?
I think it's going to be a close game also. I think UCF's offense will hang, and I think the secondary is going to look better than we kind of expect. I have UCF 37, Memphis 27.
Okay. Oh, wow. That's kind of, that's relatively. It's kind of locking them down relative to what they've been doing.
I just think the only real test they've had is UCLA. I don't know how good UCLA's defense is.
I think I'm going to go.
They did give up a bunch of points to Texas A&M.
I'm going to go UCF 42.
Wow.
Memphis 24.
Jeez. Did you say the same score last week? Oh, you said 45-24.
I said something similar. I think UCF's going to blow them up.
Oh.
And I think UCF's going to end up ranked. Hot take. UCF is going to blow out Memphis, and in the next poll, they're going to rank ahead of USF.
If that happens, UCF's a good team. I'll say it.
I would hope so.
I'm just saying.
You
guys think I'm taking a dump. I'm just saying it just for the benefit of you guys. You guys think I'm taking a dump on the team because I'm saying they're not good.
I don't think that he thinks that.
Okay.
I do think that.
I'm just saying.
I get what you're saying.
If I had to list them as a team right now, I'd say they're mediocre.
I wouldn't use the word mediocre.
This is what happens when you agree with it. Look what you just did.
Okay,
you just backed him saying UCF is mediocre.
I didn't even agree
Just
with
based
that.
on the game, because I don't. Is average a better word? I mean, I just don't because
I think the word you're looking for is good.
No, because based on the teams they
great,
played. Sure. I'll say
decent.
You really watch both those games and you decide they're mediocre?
they beat 2 bad teams. I just don't know if they continue that. I don't know if they continue that trend. Like, do you think? Do you really think that Maryland was that good a team?
I think they were better than FIU.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna say. Do you really think Maryland was that good a team with the third-string quarterback in there?
I don't know. I think we have to see what they do with the rest of their season.
Now, being a Power 5 team is always a good win, but it's not. I don't think it's as impressive. It's just.
No, I don't agree with
It's
being a Power 5. Of course, it's not as impressive, but I'm saying that, and that it goes back to literally exactly where we started. Is my whole thing is they got the same recognition I feel they would have gotten if.
Okay, but my thing is it's not the recognition. I'm talking.
In college football, the recognition is all that matters. That's how you
Okay,
get to.
but I'm talking about based getting recognition. Sure, but I'm talking about based on how they've looked and the team they play. I'm not saying how everyone else thinks they look. You think they're a good team, not because they're getting votes.
Just based on what I've seen on the field.
And taking account the teams they played, their string quarterback. Because yes, obviously Maryland's got a name. They're Power 5. They've been in the ACC, now the Big Ten, sure. And they beat them handily. Yeah, on paper it looks like a good win. But when you learn they lost a third string quarterback, or they lost a second string quarterback.
Okay, here's my position on that.
They got votes, sure, but just forget votes.
Okay, and I think we can handle this because we're going a little long. My position on this is last year's UCF team was like meh at best.
Okay,
Wait. This team is significantly better than that.
And I agree with that. But was last year's team meh or were they just not good? Because they got trashed for Arkansas State.
Their defense was good enough for them to. Also, that game had no flow, and with that game,
I'm just saying.
I felt like that game was
like some of the games they
plus
lost.
the offense was so gassed by the end of the season.
No, some of the games they lost. Yeah, I knew they were going to lose, but some of the. Just being in the American was a team last year.
I want to say I just meant just because.
Okay, I'll let you finish.
Every team they beat, they didn't beat a team with a winning record last year.
And that's like comparison to 0-12. Last year's team was amazing. It was amazing.
Well, that's why they
But I'm just saying, if they hadn't gone 0-12 the season before, would last year's team looked as good?
No, of course not. But here's the point I'm making is that last year there were probably at least 3 games where we went in like, oh, they're going to lose this game. And there were a few other games where it's like, man, this is going to be tough. Okay. This year, every single game where the expectation is at least competitive.
And now is that feeling like last year they went into 3 or 4 games saying we're going to lose this game? Was that because we really looked at the team and said this team's not that good, or were we looking at the team based on they went 0-12 the year before? How good could this team really have gotten in a year?
No, it was because the offense was just dying off as the year went on. I mean, that was their big issue last year. Their offense was all underclassmen practically, and by the end of the year, they just could not compete. I mean, it's like we saw that. We saw that in games like Cincinnati. They scraped out a win because until Lane.
So you're saying last year you thought they were going to lose 3 or 4 games just because you didn't think the team was that good, like they just weren't up to.
I just thought they didn't have the firepower.
Okay, that's okay. I just think last year's team, everyone thought. I just think based on comparison, I think being 2 years out from 0-12, it's just every win looks amazing because we looked so bad 2 years ago.
But we're at the point where it's 2 years ago. It's like I'm not really comparing this to the 0-12 team
but,
anymore. I mean,
okay, but you're still comparing to last year's team. Everyone thought last year's team was a lot better because they came after the 0-12 team.
I get what you're saying.
I understand. You're saying my thoughts are kind of impacted
they're kind of.
Look, I recognize last year's team will not be remembered as well as it felt at the time.
It felt so good because they were on.
Because they were on exactly.
The year before, had they gone 4-8, and then Frost came in and they'd go 6-7.
It would have felt like
it'd been like wow.
We would not be talking about Frost as the new hot coach in college football or whatever.
I'm saying I think a lot of these expectations and results these expectations are skewed because of where we've come from.
Yeah,
coming from 0-12, being that team was so bad. It was tough to I watched almost every. That team was very tough to watch.
Look, we're running really long, so
right.
We need to wrap up. But okay, so we've got our score predictions. You guys are both predicting close, high-scoring games. I'm predicting a high-scoring game for one of the teams, UCF. I think it'll be a blowout in UCF's favor.
I'm predicting a loss. Not saying the team's bad. I just don't. I'm not ready to say they're good, so I think Memphis is good.
And Zach says UCF's bad.
I didn't see.
So, all right, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back with another podcast next week.